I'm joined now by Trevor Negus, Senior Product Manager for TLM Collateral, SmartStream, the winners of the Collateral Management Product of the Year Award. Trevor, first of all, congratulations to you and your team at SmartStream, and thanks for taking a few questions from us today.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure.
Terrific. What does SmartStream bring to the table as a provider of collateral management solutions?
Well, I suppose ultimately it's the depth of functionality. We've had 20 plus years of continuous development, so it's a comprehensive solution, and that's shown by us servicing some of the largest clients or largest institutions in the market, and that's not only in Europe and the US, but also in your APAC region. But as well as those larger institutions where we're having to service large volumes, we appreciate that there's smaller clients that are coming in scope for initial margining, and maybe they've not had a collateral system in the past. So we've introduced a new SaaS offering that's easy to deploy solution, low install costs, and obviously you haven't got the hardware that you need to install, that kind of thing. But where we're different is that it's a private cloud solution, so there's no commingled data. You have the ability to customize the solution. So I suppose we are a solution for the whole market, not just the big sell side solutions, but also for smaller solutions that are coming into scope, smaller firms that are coming into scope.
Right. Okay. So what are the biggest challenges your clients have to overcome?
Well, I suppose obviously it's been the biggest issue this last year has been the COVID crisis, which in the early part of the year created a lot of volatility, and that obviously impacts collateral departments massively. Margin call volumes are up, disputes were up, fails, and you've got a lot more collateral movement. So there's a real operational squeeze for firms, and combining that with the UMR projects that they were working on as well was a big issue for them. So we're fortunate in that the firms that use our solution didn't have any outages during those big volume spikes at the beginning of the year. But I suppose there's the big challenge has been coping with those volumes while you've not been in the office. So we've seen that in the past with the Lehman's crisis and with the hedge fund crisis, but people were actually in the office when that was happening, and this was a completely different scenario where people weren't; they were at home.
Yeah. What are the main themes shaping current collateral management financial services environment?
Well, I suppose it's still the regulatory compliance. You need to make sure that firms need to make sure that they have SIM functionality, that they can monitor their IM and IA treatments, that they're connected up to tri-party agents and potentially verifying the tri-party allocations. But I suppose what shaped this last year really, or the last sort of 6 months really, has been the volatility, and with that came a collateral squeeze. So firms needed to manage their inventories much more efficiently, and so that whole how do you reduce your collateral requirements so that you reduce the impact on your inventory? So do you clear more trades? Do you backload trades that are already there? Do you rebalance between CCPs? Do you compress your transactions? But also from the inventory management perspective, you need to look at how you manage that. It's no good looking at it on a siloed approach, regional approach. You need to net across those silos and get a real-time view of your inventory, because when there's a collateral squeeze, you need to look at all the collateral that's available, and that needs to be accessible in the real time, and it also needs to be optimized as well, so that you're using the right collateral for the right legal agreements. And so it's having that connectivity, I suppose. And beyond that, I mean, obviously there's been a real focus on credit risk reporting. So, ensuring that all of those people that need to know about the status of margin calls are fully aware. It's not just confined to the margin team. The whole management of a firm needs to understand where we are or where they are with a margin call process.
Yeah, good. I know people tuning in today will want to know your thoughts in terms of how your clients should pivot their businesses during these turbulent times. Could you speak to that for a moment?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we talk just about inventory and credit risk reporting. I think it's all about connectivity. So connecting up your collateral system to the rest of your institution. So collateral doesn't sit as a standalone function. It needs to receive and send information. It needs to communicate with the legal department, the treasury department, operations, inventory management, credit risk management. All of those teams need to receive data and send data back to the collateral solution. So it sits kind of at the heart. And the way to do that we see is through a sophisticated API strategy, so that you can connect up to all of those upstream and downstream consumers of data. So in order to do that, the APIs need to be sophisticated, they need to be fully documented, they need to be well versioned, and importantly, they need to be stable over the long term. So as you upgrade your solution, you need to be sure that the data is still going to be connected up to your consumer systems, and it be able to accept legacy data and new data as you upgrade. So you need to build a very sophisticated. I think firms need a sophisticated connectivity program, and that's why we're seeing this sort of drive for sophisticated APIs.
Yeah, I know SmartStream develops solutions that go beyond the norm. Clearly, that's just why you're winners of the award here this year, and so many other things. But what else is on the horizon for SmartStream's products? For example, any new updates or product launches that help keep SmartStream beyond the norm?
Yeah, I mean, I talk about the API strategy. I mean, obviously that builds into or feeds into a lot of strategies that firms have around microservices, around distributive ledger. So you need to have those APIs to connect up to those new technologies. We're also working on a new browser-based UI, which will be complete at the end of this year. That is, built very much with the margin manager in mind. It's built in. There's a lot more automation there. So in terms of sending calls, in terms of agreeing calls, in terms of booking collateral. So it's improving that automation through the new web UI. We have a very sophisticated reporting tool within the application, but that historically has been a tabular format. We're now building out much more graphical reporting, so pie charting, bar charting, that kind of reporting. So it's basically giving the information to the user and also automating the process as much as possible.
Trevor Negus, thanks again for joining us today and sharing your thoughts. And once again, congratulations to you and your team at SmartStream.
Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.